I'm going to talk to you tonight about, is it easy? Is it hard to start and run a business? Yeah, I put pressure washing business, but this is any business. This isn't just a business of, is it easy or hard of just a pressure washing business, but any business. And the reason why I'm talking about this, I've actually got two subjects I'm going to talk about. Obviously, this is one of them of how hard is it to start a business? Is it always easy? Is it hard? What are the things that I got to go through to be able to be successful? Is it just going to always be there and that, or hard times come? And what do we do when we have hard times? And then the next thing I want to hit on, I had another person message me, and they're asking about employees. How do I bring employees on? What are some tips and tricks for employees? And so that is what I am going to talk about. And so with that said, who in here, out of here, thinks that starting a business and running a successful business is either hard or easy? Put it in the comments. I'm wanting to hear, and while I'm getting started here. But if you could kick the person in the pants responsible for the most of your trouble, you wouldn't sit for a year. I would put a year, because with that said, we are the ones that are responsible for not being able to grow a business. It is nobody else's fault of why we are not able to either grow or scale or get customers or whatever else. And we can blame everybody. And this is only your fault at the end of the day here. And so this is what we are going to hit on today. And so with that, we got Mr. Mike in here. How are you doing? Mr. Chad, I just got Cameron Walker actually just messaged me, and I messaged him back. He's wanted to be in here. Hey, finally got to see the live. What up? This thing's being stupid again. I love computers. It's amazing. They do amazing things, but they can drive you crazy sometimes. But that's part of being a business, right? And that's sometimes not always easy like we want it to be. It's the easiest, hardest thing I've ever done. And that's a pretty good way of putting it. I just got my LLC and insurance. Hopefully I can get started with jobs ASAP. And so it is hard, and a lot of times I'm going to hit on this because this is true. Easier than dealing with a 2-year-old. Yeah, that's true. And then Maddox here, this is, I believe, let me make sure. Yes, so this is my second question is coming in from Lentita, I don't even know how to say her last name. Miss Maddox is how I'm going to go with that one. Her husband came to one of my in-person classes down in Raleigh, North Carolina. Very successful. They're very successful. They're growing a very successful business. And we're going to talk about you. I hope your ears aren't burning too hard. I've kind of said that before we got started on here. But it's hard to start a business, period, or everyone would do it. And that is so true. And not everybody is made to start a business. That is not the case. We got Megan in here. How are you doing? Awesome, awesome, awesome. It is hard. You guys are already doing a lot here. Yep, got to blame yourself and take ownership. And so, awesome, guys. So let's get started here. So is it easy to start a business? So what got me onto this, and I'm not going to call no names, but Ray Burke has a group, Spray Wash Academy, and there is somebody in there, and he's commented on some of my videos earlier. You just can't make money doing pressure washing. You just can't do it. I live in a rural area. All the businesses are just shutting down, and you just can't make money. Well, let's put it this way. I've been at this since 2012. And I've said from 2012 that every June, July, and August slows down. It slows down. it slows down. I guarantee you it's going to slow down for every business out there. It's going to slow down for pressure washers. It's going to slow down for electricians. It's going to slow down for everybody. Unless you've been doing your work of getting commercial work, and commercial work is something that we got to get and be able to put in these months. People go on vacation, they spend all their money, they're not at their houses, and they don't have as much money because they've spent it all because they've been on vacation. And when they go on vacation in 2022, yes, gas is higher than anything, and yes, that's going to probably make it even a little bit slower of it coming back. But with that said, every year that I've had my business, I can go back, unless I've hit some big, good commercial jobs, it's been slow. Every June, July, and August. That is why they have the huge convention in August, because it slows down for everybody. It don't have nothing to do, it doesn't have nothing to do with anything except it slows down in the summertime. You would think that it would be the busiest in the summertime, but people are going on vacation and they don't have that. Now, this person I was hitting on, there was 2 or 3 forms on there, was this here. Can't make money in this. Don't tell me that. And that's 100% right. And actually, Benjamin, before you even got on here, I had your picture up. And I don't even know if you didn't see the picture, but the picture you had just posted, because it is so true. The only reason why you can't make money is it's because your fault. It ain't nobody else's fault. It is your fault. You know, there's a book that I would highly, highly recommend you to read. And this is it right here. Extreme Ownership. It is your fault why you can't grow your business. It is your fault why you can't get customers. It is your fault. It is nobody else's fault except your fault. So in this book, they did this drill. And this book is, when you read this book, you're ready to fight and kill everybody, and you're ready to go to war, right? It's a great book. I highly recommend it. It's one of my books. It's one of my top 5 books that I would highly recommend you to read. It's a great book to listen to. Jocko is amazing in this book. And they're talking about, they're on the beaches and they're doing a training. And one of the trainings was they had to go out in the boats and these things. And the top people were always the fastest, and the slowest person was always the slowest. And it was a great book of, they said all they did was change the leader from the dude that was the number 1 always winning to the very last. And they came in number 1, either number 1 or number 2. I think they could only get up to number 2, but they came all the way up out of like 8 or 10 boats, and they came all the way up to number 2. And all they did is change the leader. And sometimes you as the leader might be the problem of why you can't grow your business. It isn't because you can't find employees. It isn't because you can't find work. It isn't because of all those things. It might just be you. And so this is one of the books that I highly recommend. I put it up here. I got some more books I'm going to be putting up here tonight, but this book here is a great listen. It's one of my favorite books, and it's a great book. So moving forward here, this is something, Jocko doesn't cut corners. You are absolutely right. It is a great book, 100% great book. I am as bright as the light bulb was trying to turn off when it comes to the internet. Can you just make money, trees, and rock flipping? Yes, you can. You can put out signs. Jason Hefner just talked about it. Last year he did over $100,000 just off of yard signs. So yes, you can. And so the book referrals, awesome. And if you want to go see all my other books that I have, you can go to pressurewashhelp.com/store or the resource center of my website, and I've got all my books that I recommend there. So with that said, this person was Well, I'm 45 minutes from the big city. Well, you know what? You might need to have to drive to the big city. If you live out in the country in the rural and you don't, if you're only 500,000 something like that, you're not going to be able to keep a business in the first place. You're going to have to get in your little tail and drive to the business where it is. The business isn't out there. Even with this economy, I have two friends. I have one good friend, and yeah, I know the other person in this area, and it's in Indiana. And one of my friends, who's my friend, he has the high end clientele. He has all high end clientele. He is the high dollar, high ticket, high doing exterior window cleaning, gutter cleaning, house washing, the whole 9 yards. He's got 2-3 trucks on the road, and he does all the high end customers. There's another guy that has all the lower end customers. He's kind of the lower guy. He has 2 trucks, I believe, 2 or 3 trucks, and he's kind of the lower guy. Now, when times get tough, who do you think is going to slow down more? The person that has the lower end client or the higher end client? The person that has the higher end client, he might slow down a little bit, but he's going to keep pushing forward. When we start looking at our customers, where are our customers at? Who is our customers? Where do we find those customers? Do we have to drive to those customers? I'm in Northern Kentucky, and when I first started, I drove to the north side of Cincinnati a lot. I drove up there 3-4 times a day. That's an hour drive in the morning and then afternoon. It's a 20-minute drive any other time, but any time other, it's an hour drive up there. I had to drive to where those customers are. And this is so important that we make sure that we don't put excuses, because at the end of the day, we can have an excuse for everything. There's enough excuses out there that you can have excuses for excuses. And so, like, one of the thread, there was people giving him things, and it was excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. And if you want excuses, I was talking to Miss Maddox in here when we got on here, and it was kind of funny because she was asking, I was telling her I was going to talk about this tonight on here, and she said, I had just said basically what I was going to talk about and being that, and she said, definitely not whiny. They don't raise Marines to be that way. We hand those people tampons, right? And so with that, what do we got to do to grow our business? When I was growing my business, 2012, 2013, it was a hobby for me. It really wasn't a job at this point. It was more of a hobby. It was helping us get out of debt. It was helping us go on vacation. And then my wife had her second daughter, and she quit her job at Toyota. So at that point, it was no more a hobby. It was going to be a career at this point, because I had to make up for the $50,000 that she was making at that place. And so at that point, it wasn't just a hobby no more. I had to take my big boy pants on, and we had to make money so that we could grow it. And I didn't want to just grow a little bit. And this was the point of, I wanted to grow it and grow it with employees. And so with that, it took some time, but these are some things that we had to do, and we had to sit there and we had to get customers, and I couldn't blame other people of why things are not right. And even if I have things that are not right, I have to make sure that I am growing my business. Those are good at making excuses are seldom good at anything else. And it's so true. This is something that this is another book that I'd highly recommend you to read, The Magic of Thinking Big. Some people can say, well, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too whatever, I'm too overweight. And he talks about it. This is one of my top books that I would highly recommend you to read, The Magic of Thinking Big. It's a great listen to. This book was written into the 1950s, and it is so relevant even in today's world. And so with that, this is a book that if you haven't read it, it is a must. And if you haven't read it yet, put it on your next list here. I read that in the 70s. Yes, this book is from the 1950s. It's an amazing book, but he talks about age-itis. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too whatever. And we can have these constraints which will hold us back. The only thing holding you back is you. You are the only thing that's going to hold you back. And, we can do all kinds of things to make up reasons why we can't grow a business. I guarantee you can come up with 10,000 words for why you can't grow a business. Here's one of them. So last year, we were at the huge convention in August. It slows down in August because we're at the huge convention. And there's a guy there from St. Louis. He was there from St. Louis. And he said, Jason, if you think Florida's bad, you ought to come to St. Louis. Everybody there's only $99 guys. We got those beat. We got $49 guys, right? We got those beat. And he's like, I've been talking to all the other people out there, that all my buddies that are in pressure washing, they're saying the same thing. Well, who are your buddies? What group are you in? Because you're in this group of 5 guys that can't make money. You're not in the group that the guys and Dan Plata was there with me at the time. He's like, have you talked to this guy? Have you talked to that guy? Have you talked to Well, no. Well, those are the guys that are making $1 million. So we don't want to be over here by the guys that are complaining why you can't do it. We want to be over here by the guys that are making $1 million, right? Those are the guys I want to be with. And so with that, you become who you're around. If you're around a bunch of broke people and poor people, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be broke and poor. If you're around successful people, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to be successful. And you got to figure out how to get into those groups. You got to get into those groups. If you stay around poor, broke people, you're going to be poor and broke. You won't have a mindset for it. You don't have anything for it. But if you get around successful people, and don't just be in pressure washing things, go out there and be in other parts of it. I'm on fire here, and I gotta calm down here a little bit. One of the things I've been doing every day is last couple weeks for my mentorship, I've been putting a motivational speech in. I've been listening to myself, and I've been putting them in there. And TD Jakes put in one that was talking about how if you are around the bunch of people that are like you're all around all pressure washers, and you're all buddies with all these pressure washers, it's going to be very bad for you because everybody's coming for your spot at that point. But when you open up and you become friends with doctors and lawyers and preachers and all the different types of people out there, then everybody grows together, and everybody can come in and unite, and everybody grows together. And that is so important when we are trying to grow our business. We can't be in this little place here that I can't make no money. There's no money out there. We got to be able to do something. And this is another person that, hey, I know they live it out in the middle of nowhere. We are driving 2+ hours to St. Louis for jobs because everything has slowed down and crawled to $1,100 surface cleaning, with them wanting us to bid more jobs where we are there. And so this is why it is important that we may have to go where the money is. If we're out in the country, it's going to slow down. It's going to slow down there anyway, but it's going to slow down, especially when the economy is getting to do what it's doing. But it's not to say that there is no money out there. You can't make money out there. You might have to do hard things. That's what it comes down to. And you know what? If you're a business owner, you can do hard things. So with that, Miss Maddox sent me some stuff here. She wants, they're ready to take their business to the next level. He broke his elbow. They are only working weekends. So they only work weekends. They've done $50,000 already this year, working just Saturday and Sunday. She does a lot on Facebook. They do a lot through Facebook groups. That's how they grow their business. And they're killing it, right? Who thinks in here that $50,000 just for Saturday and Sundays and then he broke his elbow 4 weeks ago, so it hasn't even been working that long. Who in here thinks $50,000 is a lot of money per year for a year? That's pretty good. I don't think that's too bad. That's not too shabby. Now, they're in Charlotte, and that's a good area. There's lots of money down there. There's plenty of people down there. There's a couple million people in that area, so there's lots of people. There's lots of competition, but $50,000 for weekend is awesome, right? That's pretty awesome. I would say that's awesome. So with that, they're asking how do we put employees in place? How do we do the employee things? How do we grow our business? How do we scale? And and here's the thing: even with just 50,000, it can be tight sometimes. Sometimes that's tight. Sometimes that sounds good, but time you got to pay for gas and you got to pay for everything. How do I have enough money for our employees? And so what I'm going to hit on is, one, we got to be at pricing that is premium, that is being able to give us profit even after we pay an employee. So that is number one. Number two is we got to train our employees. We got to have systems in place. We got to have check sheets ready to go. So, whether you're going to do company cam and they're taking pictures of the check sheet, or they're filling it out, they're doing it online, we got to have check sheets so that we can make sure that the techs are doing what they need to do. I would highly recommend company cam. That way they can take the before pictures, they can take the after pictures, they can take pictures of anything damaged, and you get the pictures right away. And so that is definitely something that I would hit on, is that right there. And then we got to have systems, right? When you pull up to the house, the first thing you do is you go get the water. The second thing you do is you go around the house. The third thing you do is, and you make these systems so that way it's really simple and it's really easy to do that. And that's the next question she had. How much do we pay our employees? So with that, some of that is you can be $20 an hour. $20 an hour in today's age is not a lot of money anymore. But you might be able to find somebody at $20-25 an hour, depending on where you're at. But again, if we want to be, if you can get good employees that will work well, you can pay them a percentage. You can pay them 15, 18, 20%, and then that will make them really happy, because if they're really good, they can make a lot of money. You make a lot of money, they make a lot of money, and you know your cost. If I know that if it's 20%, I know every job is 20% goes to them. Now I know my cost. If I do $20 an hour and they're slow and they take 10 hours to do a job that should be done in 2 hours, I'm the one at the loss, not them. And so this is something that can help you go faster and get things done a lot faster. So the $20 an hour is probably a decent starting spot. Honestly, it might be hard to find somebody at $20 an hour. You might not, if you find the right person that wants to be outside, likes being outside, don't mind that, then the $20 might not be so bad. But you're probably going to be anywhere from about $20 to $25. And then the next thing is if you can do 15, 20%, that's a great way to do it too. They can make a lot more money, because if your average ticket, say, is $500 for easy math, you do 3 jobs a day, that's $1,500. They get 20%. They're making decent money. You're making decent money, and that's not a bad truck day. I tried to shoot for $1,500 a day. You may want to start shooting for $2,000 a day. Obviously this was 5 years ago, so you're going to have to shoot for a little bit more, because we got to pay for other things. We got to keep things running. So you might want to try to get your average ticket up to $600-700, and then that way it's going to be better for you in the end. So that is how we do that. How do you handle a big townhouse job? It's a bunch of townhouses. It's 200. Like an elephant, you do one bite at a time. You do so many one day, and you do so many the next day. We usually only put one guy on a truck, and we would maybe send 2 trucks on the bigger jobs. But in the beginning, I was the one truck, and that was my truck, and I went and did those big jobs. It just takes time, and you try to figure out how many you can do in a day and how fast you can get those done in a day. So that's how we do those there. And so they've done $50,000 on about $400 on marketing is all they spent, because like I say, she does her due diligence on Facebook. She posts in all the groups. She does all of that kind of stuff. So, if you're going to start hiring people, you're going to have to start putting money into marketing. Yeah, it's good to do what you've done now to keep it going, but marketing is kind of where you're going to have to be at. You're going to have to, that's kind of back to the percentages. If I do 15% plus workers' comp and everything's going to put me, we want to be less than 25% with workers' comp and everything. That's kind of the magic number we want to be under for it. So if we're at 20%, 25% because you're going to have to pay payroll tax, you got all the other crap that goes along to it. So that's where I would be at. One thing that Google Ads is definitely something I would probably do, but as much as you're on Facebook, I would maybe consider doing some Facebook ads. I'm not a big fan of Facebook ads, but like I say, as much as you're on Facebook ads, I would maybe consider doing some Facebook ads, or Google ads for sure. Google ads is definitely where I'd be at. And, I tried to shoot for about $1,000 a month per truck. So every truck I added another $1,000 to it. So at the end, when I'm running 4 trucks, I was running $4,000 a month. That's how much money I was running in marketing to try to keep my marketing stuff going. So that's definitely something that you want to do for that. And I think that was pretty much. Oh, here another thing. I don't have a long shot for the. I do kind of. It's not a very good one for something to send out an email. So what I would recommend there is figure out a good letter to send. And a lot of it's short. It isn't about some long letter. Property managers are very busy. Property managers are busy all the time. So I would do something short. I would do something short for emails. And some of it is, hey, it's fall time. You need your gutters cleaned out, right? They got to be fast. They got to be quick, in that. And then I want to go back to one other thing with commercial side of things. Commercial side of things, it goes back is running a business easy or hard. So DJ's been trying to get this commercial job, and they've sent him like this big paperwork stuff of what's all this stuff that he needs. You got to come up with the insurance. You got to come up with pages that you don't even know. Greg Townsend sent me something the other day. What is this? What is this? Do I need to send him? He didn't know. And so with this, the one job at the Arc, DJ's been working on it for like 3 weeks, trying to get all the paperwork to him. Or no, it's tennis court or town properties for some tennis courts. That it's taken like 3 weeks to get all the right paperwork. If I'm a business owner and I get frustrated, that's stupid. I'm not going to do commercial. That's too hard. I can't get all this paperwork. I don't know what all this is that I'm supposed to have. And then you give up, right? And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You got to figure out what they need and you got to send it to them. It's, and especially this time of year when commercial is, the time that you got to keep going. This is stuff that why we want to, when life was good and you were making good money in May and June, April and May, and I'm like, make sure you're doing your emails, make sure you're sending out that we're trying to get our emails ready to go for our property managers and stuff. There's a reason why I say that for. The reason why I said that for is because when times get slow, we can't be trying to get work in June, July, and August and think that it's going to be okay. It's just like if we're not marketing and planning marketing out for September and October and December, then we're not going to get jobs there either. We're not going to get those Christmas light jobs because we haven't planned it. If we want to send out Christmas cards and we don't think about sending out Christmas cards till December, that's too late. Time we get the Christmas cards, we send them, it's too late. So making sure that we do this is very important. So that way, when it goes, we're definitely making sure that we can do this. I'm going to try to hire his fellow young police buddies so every truck has a license concealed carry on working at nights. And that's something that you might need to do, depending on where you are. Christmas in July, baby, that's right. That is an amazing thing to do. It's something that you send out Christmas cards and you're trying to get your repeat customers. It's definitely something to do. Robert Jane, Google Ads. Google Ads is definitely something that if you're trying to get business, you got, it is. But you can't say, well, that didn't work. I spent $500 and that didn't work. Especially if you're spending money right now in these months, you might get clicks, but you might not be getting phone calls from it, because it's the time of year that people might look and be like, oh, that's too expensive on my budget right now. I don't want to spend that much, right? So these are things that we got to look for and do, so that way we can be confident in what we do. Question: do I use the same SH pool shock for roof and house wash? Yes, you do. And if so, the only thing I'd have to do is change the dilution, correct? Yes, that is correct. So if you're doing house washing and you're using a pressure washing with a downstreamer, you can go straight SH, and that's going to get you a 1 to 1.5%. If you're going to do roof cleaning, you're going to have to get it about 6%, and so you need a soft wash system to get it that high. Whether it's air, it's 12 volt, it's gas pump, whatever it is. Yes, I have a podcast. It's, if you go to kingofpressurewash.com, you'll find a podcast on there somewhere. I've got it on there somewhere. Actually, if you go to kingofpressurewash.com/podcast, that's what it is. I built my entire business off commercial. Once you do it first time, you just copy, repeat, and you don't have to deal with the callbacks and 5 different personalities each day. And it's very true. You know, commercial work is definitely something that works well, right? You have to learn how to run a commercial side. You don't get paid as quick on commercial side sometimes. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can get a credit card. But sometimes you wait 60 days. Sometimes you wait 90 days. Sometimes you wait longer than that. Somebody on here waited 6 months to get a big check, right? Sometimes it takes time. So you got to be able to float that as it goes, especially if you got equipment rental, bleach, all of those things that come along that you have to float that. So you got to learn how to get that cash flow with commercial. You know, that's the one thing, that's one reason why in the spring, you know, April, May, and a little bit of June, I ran 3 trucks residential, 1 truck commercial. When it came June, July, and August, I ran 3 trucks commercial and 1 truck residential. Why? Because the residential dried up, but my residential truck was my cash flow. That's how I paid my guys. That's how I kept my business running to get through those months to when that other comes in. Can you give us some wisdom on how to execute Google Ads the best? Yeah, go to pressurewashhelp.com/Google Ads, sign up for that, and I'll give you my whole thing. And it has lots of negative keywords, it has lots of positive keywords, and that's that. But the main thing about it is knowing your negative keywords. Now, Google is getting stupid here lately, and I say that too loud, and they might cut off everybody on here. One thing that they're doing, so you used to have 3 different ways of getting keywords. One was broad match, and so they could pull, if I had the word pressure washing and somebody put in washing machine, they would show my ad to those people. And so there's exact match and phrase match. And exact match and phrase match are only if those keywords are in the word. Well, what happened here's lately, they're allowing other words that these words are close to. And so, like, for somehow or another, it's happening in all my stuff. And so I'm trying to delete these certain keywords that they're coming up with house washing. They're coming up with maid stuff inside the house. Maids, all this other stupid stuff that I don't want for house washing, right? I want house washing is outside, not inside. Well, now they're throwing me all these keys for inside for house washing. So I've had to cut those keywords. So I'm try to quit getting those out there. And so, you know, that's some things that we have to deal with Google. And there's not a whole lot. Now you can get on a phone call with them, and that's about as useless as tits on a pool. And so that's something that you can do. 4 million, are you rebuilding a home? I don't understand what you're talking about. Do you have a video on adding multiple businesses for a Facebook account? No, I don't have videos on too much individual specialty of Facebook or anything, because things change, and then 3 months later it It's irrelevant. So they've just redone a whole lot of this stuff on Facebook Manager. They've redone it all, and so that's why I don't do a video, because they redo it every 3 6 months, and so it would be out of date. But if you go to Facebook, I believe it's library, they'll have all the videos on how to do it and stuff. Jason, send me an invite and I'll jump on the live. Okay, I can do that, I think. Um, Donovan, so copy. Let's see. Copy. Uh, Copy. So who wants Donovan to come on? Donovan likes to talk, and I like talking to Donovan. Donovan is an amazing guy. If you haven't followed him, he's grown his business a bunch. I'm going to send it through Facebook, Donovan, if you're still on here, if I can find you on Facebook. On the Facebook, Donovan. And I'll probably spell it wrong too. I got to change it. I spelled his name wrong. He's kind of mad at me. I'm surprised he's going to jump on here. Because I spelled his name wrong in my training that I got coming up. I just sent you the thing there. Man, paste. Yeah, I just sent it to you. Last time you couldn't get on for some reason. But yes, so that is definitely something that we have to think about when we are dealing with this stuff. These are things that we got to do. Oh, there we go. Let's see if he's going to come up here. Oh, wait. It's probably going to echo on me here. Well, let's see what it does here. There you are. Talk to me.
All right, what's going on, man?
Hold on here a second. Otherwise, it's going to be really loud on them.
All right.
I got to figure out how to do it. Sorry, guys. I know this is loud on y'all. Donovan, talk to me.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. So Donovan started out years ago, and he posted a little bit about how he would work and then take that money and then not work for a while. And then he's kind of like my brother. So my brother Bill, I haven't seen him on here tonight. Crazy Bill TV. If he's
I was about
on
to
here,
say, which brother are you comparing me to?
Crazy Bill TV. He's one that he will work for like 3 or 4 months, and then he takes off and goes boating and does crazy creature craft stuff. And so Donovan used to run his business that way. That was how he ran his job. That's how he got money. So with that, now he's acting like he's working, because we know he don't know how to work on things. But this is a pressure washer that he don't do much. He does gutter cleaning, and he's killing it with gutter cleaning. And so here's my brother here, Crazy Bill TV, that I was talking about, that and then actually he had somebody on his thing say, how does he make any money? Well, he's an electrician. He goes to California, lives out of the back of his truck, lives like a homeless man, and that's how he does it, right? And he makes really good money. He makes $150,000 a year, working a couple months out of the year, and then he gets on unemployment and works the rest of it. And he goes and he sleeps out of the back of his truck. He just got a tonneau cover on it. He goes to the fitness center to get a bath and stay clean, and so that's how he lives, like a rich bum. So with that, that's how Donovan used to kind of live before he started listening to me and teaching him about premium pricing, right?
Hey, man, if my wife ever leaves me, I might go back to that as well.
Him and his dogs.
It'd be me and my dog living out of a van, pulling a trailer. I'd be happy with that. I started my business in high school, and it's just one of those things. When you're living at home, you just don't need a lot of money. And, chasing women, you just got to buy beer for the weekend and enough food to get to the weekend, right? So it's one of those things where I'd go out on the weekend, make, $1,000 and then take 2 or 3 weeks off. You just didn't need a whole lot more than that. So I eventually, found a girlfriend, now my wife, 3 kids later, 10, 15 years married, something like that. Got serious about it. And right around that time, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to really, really, really start building this business, because I want to get married, provide for kids. What I wanted more than anything was like options. It's like, here tonight, I'm out here working and wrenching on this stuff, or I could pay somebody to do it. Right. But back when I was first starting, nope, I'm going to be here till midnight working on this because I can't afford a $200, shop bill. And so what I always wanted was options. And right around the time where I got serious about building my business, it seemed like I was working like 100 hours a week and I had less money than when I was goofing off because it was like the business was just sucking it up. And then, last few years, it hadn't been that long, last 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. There's been extra money laying around. And they say money don't buy happiness. I say if you don't think money buys happiness, you don't know where the fuck to shop because it sure makes happiness a little bit easier. Yeah, man, I enjoy it. So here's some of the things that we got going on now. A lot of folks haven't seen my shop. All right, so I got here behind me staging areas. I got some goals for the guys, and I got 8,000 square foot here. I got a bay back here. I got a lift for working on vehicles. Got, again, more staging area. All back here, we got different warehouse stuff for Christmas lights that we have. I'll show you my favorite part. When Jason and I do trainings together, we built out a little training area. And Jason actually built out half of this the night before the training. So we got my office back here, and then we built this out like the front of a house. So when you come in here for Christmas light training or power wash training, gutter cleaning training, anything like that, we actually have it all indoor right here. Now let's see. Got my little office back away from everybody. And then I'll show you what has made me more money than anything. Jason, you know what I'm going to show them next?
Yep.
Where the ladies work, man. Having somebody dedicated to the admin, the scheduling, and a good work environment for them. So we got offices up here. Got an extra office back there.
So I want to hit on something here that you just talking about, because Miss Maddox is who I was kind of talking about growing and scaling a business, right? And so this is part of growing and scaling a business. And so I don't remember if you remember, Dan was the kind of tall dude from Charlotte. He made pretty good money, but he did business on the weekends, right? And he was the one that his wife, Miss Maddox, is the one that does that post in like 100 Facebook groups up in Charlotte. And so what are some things that you would suggest so that because they're looking to put somebody on the truck full time, so it's not him doing it on the weekends?
Yeah, and I think I was chatting with her yesterday. She is, I tell you what, they are in a very good position to have two people that are true partners and that their goals lined up. When my business took off, it was quite honestly when I partnered up with my wife now. And when I say partnership, I don't mean a 50-50 partnership. I mean 100% partnership. Okay. So first off, they're in a position where they got two people willing to do whatever it takes. And if that's not you, then you need to first off do the work of two people, right? 100% whatever it takes. Now, next thing is you got to have systems in place. You got to have some sort of CRM system where you can track your business. I know they have that, right? The next thing you got to have is leads, right? So, if he's going to quit his job, then they need to be booked out a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and have that much work, have a full month or 2 months worth of work lined up. Well, at that point, you're losing jobs. It just, I'm all about being as stingy, being as frugal, being as, and put in the hustle, the sweat equity for as long as you can until it's a necessity for you to move to that next stage or spend the money. Look, here's a $1,000 truck, okay? And that sucker makes me $2,000 a day. I put 2 employees in this sucker, right? And that's good enough. So for them, if they're looking to hire somebody full time, well, it needs to be the point where it's like it doesn't make sense for them not to. Like that needs to be an easy decision. If you're struggling, if you hire somebody and then you're struggling to pay them or struggling to keep them busy, like I guarantee you, your business is going to stall out and die. So I would say you need to get to the point where you're so busy, it's like a necessity. And here's another piece of advice that I give you: don't hire your brother, don't hire your nephew, don't hire the guy from church. Go out and find yourself an absolute rock star who impresses you with their work ethic, with their smarts and everything else. Your very first hire, it really needs to be an amazing individual. Otherwise, you're going to be spending double the amount of time and making half the money.
Yep. So
did that answer the question?
Yes. One thing, and so here's another question I want to ask, because this has been in the groups, and I kind of started this off too. What if you are getting slow and, you can't make money because, we live out 35, 45 minutes from a major city and there's just no work out here and everything's closing up, or you just can't make money here? What are you going to say to those people?
Well, here's what I will say. Everybody's slow right now. Okay. So keep that in mind. Everybody is slow right now. Okay. So, what was working for you when everybody had stimulus money, that ain't going to necessarily work right now. Okay. And this is where, it separates the boys from the men. It separates the business owners from the hobbyists. It's separate. This is what we're getting into. And here it's the other thing. It's an opportunity as well, because it's going to be tough. It's going to be really flipping hard going on the next year or two. And so, quite honestly, most people are going to go out of business. They're going to go on, like your brother. He works for a little while when it's easy, then he goes on unemployment. So, other people will do that as well. They're going to go out of business because they can't keep their employees busy. They can't afford the vehicles that they paid too much for. They can't afford the brand new lease on the shop. They're going to go out of business. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a couple of quality employees. Like, say it's a 10-person organization. All right. Those 10 people are going to get laid off. One or two of those people were actually worth their weight in salt. So there's an opportunity there for you to hire them up. And then maybe let's say they had 1,000 customers. Well, then there's going to be 800 of those customers that you don't even want to touch. But there's going to be 100 or 200 of them that somebody needs to service them. And so my advice for you right now is that it is tough to get customers. You need to know that and approach it. Just business rolling in by osmosis ain't going to happen anymore. All right. I don't care which side of the spectrum you guys fall on politically, but the economy is in a very horrible place, and it wasn't just one person's fault. I mean, this is going back 10, 15 years, like coming to a head, guys. So with that being said, you have to be amazing at everything. Okay. If you're a big established company, you need to get your branding right. You need to get your vehicles right. You need to get all the waste out of your company, all the wasted time. Your employees, everybody around you needs to have the right attitude. They need to have an attitude of, we are going to be the best, providing the best for the best price, right? So that is my advice. I mean, if you guys want some specifics, okay, Jason gives you specifics every flipping week. Do what he tells you. Quit thinking you know more and just do what he tells you, quite honestly. Because if you don't, you're going to be one of those people complaining about the economy and blaming this president or that president, and I'm going to be the guy scooping up your business for pennies on a dollar. So
I want to hit on something here, because actually I just posted this the other day. Aaron Walker talked about customer service and how customer service has went FUBAR, right? It isn't no more. Like, the young people aren't taught how to talk to people. Young people aren't taught how to talk to people. Young people have their earbuds in. They don't care. They don't, and it's been instilled that that's okay. And that's the last thing is okay. It is not okay, right? When we talk to people, we're going to, address them, Mr. Mrs. We're going to We're going to be, we're going to do the things we need to do to give that communication. And you don't think that goes far. I was just on my membership call right before we got off here, and Calvin and Amber was talking, or he was talking about how they just got this huge commercial job, and they're going to get lots more because the people were so excited because Amber was talking to them 2-3 times a week, communicating with these people, and they love that. And that is so important, that the communication that comes out of your mouth and how you talk to these customers and how we are doing these things to these customers, it is so important that you don't even realize that you might be like, they don't care about that. And that is the least thing, because just like Donovan said, you're going to have to be the best of the best, and you're going to have to change how we get customers a little bit, right? We're going to have to figure out how to get the customers that we want. And so with that, those are some things that we have to think about.
Yeah, I got a perfect example for you. As a matter of fact, I just posted it either on my page or the Gutter Cleaning Contractors. I posted it in the Gutter Cleaning Contractors group. So if you guys are Facebook and you want to offer that service, I got a group just for the business side, not necessarily the how-to, but the business side of it, Gutter Cleaning Contractors. If you put in a request, I'll add you eventually. But I put it on a post on there. What it was a negative review that I had gotten that day from a customer. And what the customer said is that, hey, we're going to pay the invoice and we are going to hire you in the future, but we're a little disappointed in the work. One of the guys, threw a handful of leaves in a bush. And so they were expecting us to provide a higher level of service than the previous 2 companies they had hired. But we didn't. We matched the service, right? And essentially, she ended it by saying, by the way, your company is by far the most professional and the most responsive out of any cleaning service she's ever worked with. And the lady's like 60, 70 years old, right? So the key is not doing a perfect job or having the best equipment or, whatever. It's the customer service. And when you do that, the key there is service. Like, if you wanted to learn from Jason Guyman, like, what are you willing to do to make Jason's life easier that he would be willing to teach you? And would you drive 20 hours to learn just one little tip from him? And most people, the answer is no. They're like, no. I mean, there's free information out there online and this and that and the other. And when you take that attitude towards your customers, look, guys, it's been easy getting customers. It has been easy since Trump started just throwing away money to everybody. I mean, because everybody, they didn't earn it, so they give it to you real easy. Well, the money's dried up, the economy's dried up, inflation's gone up. And so if you want these customers, you need to serve them. And that's the part of customer service. People focus on the customer, but they don't focus on the service side of customer service. And that attitude's going to bite you in the butt.
And the service side is not the pressure washing side of things.
Absolutely not. I mean, like I said, my guys threw a handful of debris in her bushes. They cleaned everything up. And then I responded with, hey, thank you so much for this information. I'm going to talk with the team about it first thing on Monday. And by the way, would you like me to send the team back out there and we'll clean up anything that we've left? And she said, absolutely not. Have a great weekend. It was really just one handful of debris in a bush. Okay. But look, if you got that attitude of like, you know what, this is at me over one handful of debris in the bush. No, you need to be like, ma'am, I am so sorry. Okay. I will send a team back out there right now. I get that it's 8:00 at night. I'll send them back out there right now. We'll clean that up. And by the way, here's a gift card to Chick-fil-A. You mentioned to me that it was your kid's favorite restaurant. And, go out of your way. Hey, when you guys power wash the house, you killed my pansies or this or that and the other that I just planted. He said, ma'am, I'm so sorry. You go out there, you don't just say, hey, I'll take $20 off. You go to the nursery, you buy the pansies, you dig up the old ones, you plant them again, and then you buy her a bouquet of flowers on top of it. And, go above and beyond for your customers. And when you make mistakes like that and the customer contacts you, that's another opportunity to sell them something else. Like, if you part ways with, and the end result is you got a negative review, like you've messed up 2 times in a row. So I'm all about like, like that customer is the last woman on earth and I got to win her over to repopulate the planet. Like, however you need to look at it to, you know what I mean? Whatever you need to do to get that, this is the most important thing. This is the last customer that you'll ever be able to do paid advertising for. Paid advertising will never work again. You'll only grow your business on referrals. So if you looked at every customer like that, you'd do everything in your power to get a dang referral. And that's what it's going to take.
Awesome. So, if you want to go to training, I do have a class in Indianapolis. I highly recommend it. It will be with Fred. It's not with Donovan. It's almost as good, but we are going to be talking about up there. We will be talking about permanent lighting, I'm sure, because Fred loves permanent lighting. He's in love with it. So we will be talking about that. So if you go check out kingofpressurewash.com, or you can go to pressurewashhelp.com/, dates, and that'll come up there. And then there's also dates that we will be down with Donovan, where I did spell his name wrong and I gotta go change it because I hurt his feelings, I think. But that's because the voice to text is how it spelled it and I didn't change it. So I'm not smart enough to change it right away. Was too lazy to go look at how to spell it on Facebook to make sure I was right, to double check myself. But I have those dates. Those are going to be in September and October. Both of us will be at the huge convention. We do have a booth. I did get it signed up. So we will be doing a booth. So you can come meet us there also. Shake our hands, tell us whatever you want to tell us. How awesome we've helped you. That's what I love hearing. I've heard it more here lately. And that's the thing, I hear these stories that, oh, this is terrible. And then, so that was one. I also got another message here from another guy that he's a dude that had found me a way. Then he contacted me. He hasn't asked no questions hardly at all, but he's given me this, like, the report of it. He always calls me coach. And, he put, hey, coach, we have been flipping rocks and we booked $6,663 week, and we will close to or over $10,000 for July. Yard signs and flyers are helping a lot. I truly believe we will be at six figures. For the first year in business, the last live was really motivating. And all thanks for everything you do. And that's what he put, in court. And then I had said, basically he's going to do amazing things, right? I'm just re-upping it. He's got some other things in here that he's told me that he's doing well with. And so, I love, my goal is to help 1,000 people make $100,000. Even in hard times, just like Little Pressure Wash and put, when millionaires are made is when recession happens. That's when the most millionaires are being made, is when recession is happening. And so with that, that is something that is huge at the end of the day. So we have to think, we might have to think a little bit different, but at the end of the day, business is business and marketing is marketing. And if we can figure out how to do marketing, we can figure out how to make money, whether it's pressure washing or we do something else that makes money. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, guys, if it's real difficult for you to get leads in one particular service right now, you can always try a different service, right? We're in a customer service business. We're not in a power washing business or a gutter cleaning business or a Christmas light business. We're in a customer service business. So if you own that part of it, you could offer, like Jason was saying earlier, that it was, if you're getting 1,000 phone calls for interior maid service, well, that could be something that you can drop and pivot to. All the advice that Jason gives is business advice. It's not just specifically, what's the best hose for power washing. That's not the key there. Look, one thing that has made a huge impact in my business, in my wallet, has been installing professional grade Christmas lights. And so if you do slow down in the wintertime, or you anticipate that might be something that you want to start looking into and planning for now. And here's what I'll tell you. My goal is to sell $50,000 this month in Christmas light installation, $100,000 next month, $150,000 the month after that. Like, this is a thing where you can have a legit business, and in a few weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, we'll earn in that time frame as much as our entire cleaning business for the whole rest of the year. So guys, if you want to do it, okay, there's so many options out there, and Jason and I are here willing to help. I'd love to see you in Raleigh. That's a September and October date. I will say this: I don't know if the information will be any better in Raleigh than in Indianapolis, but the food will be.
That is a guarantee because his wife takes care of us with the food, and that is a
Yeah,
guarantee that the food will be better.
it's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man. We eat good coming here when we put on class in Raleigh.
Well, I want to hit. I know we're hitting right at about an hour, but I want to hit
Yeah,
one
yeah.
other thing that Maddox put on here. Biggest thing you learned the first year Christmas lights installs, do's and don'ts with clients.
Don't install clients' lights and only install professional grade lighting. So we're not talking about like, look, you need to learn from Jason and I what we're talking about, okay? And don't do it halfway. All right, we got a whole system in place from A to Z, what you need to buy, where to get it, how to quote it, how to put them up so that you can take it down easy. And look, I have a goal per crew, $10,000 a day, 10 grand a day in installs, okay, per crew.
And that's only
That's
5 jobs because his average ticket's actually over $2,000.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's a big one. Professional grade. Okay. Don't be going to the store. Don't be hanging customers' lights. Like, do it the way Jason and I do it. And there's so many people popping up trying to teach people how to hang Christmas lights, but they're like, they got 15, 20 guys and they're doing $1 million. I'm doing that with 4 guys. So we got it down to a science. Come to the Huge, come to one of our training, hop on the lives and keep asking questions, join the Facebook group, whatever you want to do there. All right, here's the next one. Don't lower your pricing. Okay? Don't do discounts. Don't sell on coupons. You are not your customer. This applies so much more to Christmas lights than even power washing. Okay? You are not your customer. Your very first year in business, you're going to be doing a lot of advertising. And if you can develop one skill your first year, get the skill of getting that phone to ring. Because if you can get enough leads, then you know for a fact that year 2, you won't be lowering your pricing and worrying about it. The only people who charge cheap and they get out of the business because they're breaking even. They're not, and that's because they don't have enough leads. So
I'm going to hit on that because I just watched a video. I just watched a video on this same thing on pressure washing. And this is a new guy that he's a pressure washer and he's figured out how to do shorts and he's getting millions of views on his shorts and whatever. And that's fine if you want to follow those types of people. And he was saying that you can't charge $200. You got to go cheap. And that is the last thing I will ever teach you. If you can't sell a $200-$300 pressure washing job, if you can't sell a $1,000-$1,500 pressure washing job or a Christmas light job, then you can't sell a $200 pressure washing job, or you can't sell a $600 Christmas light job, right? And so this is why I teach premium pricing right out of the get-go for pressure washing and Christmas lights, because if I want you to stay in business and not be a bunch of low guys, then this is how I'm doing it. This is why I teach $8 to $12 a foot right out of the get-go for Christmas lights. This is why I teach $300 an hour right out of the get-go for pressure washing. Is it going to be easy to get those closes? No. But when you do and you learn how to sell, you're going to stay in business. When you don't, you're going to be the first one out of business and closing your doors.
Well, here's the thing, like anybody can get busy, okay? Anybody can go out there and get busy working. We want y'all to be profitable. If you only get, if you get 20 clients your first year at $10 a foot and you only get 20 clients, like you are going to be fired up year 2. You go out there and get 100 clients at $3.50 a foot and barely make any money. I mean, yeah, it's going to sound like you did a bunch of work and you can go online and brag that you got 100 clients your first year, but you don't have any money in the bank account. All right? Don't think that the only way to sell something is on price. Don't trick yourself into thinking you're a good salesman just because you can sell something cheap. Like, look, my wife just closed an $8,000 residential Christmas light job. Okay?
Don't you just feel terrible?
Look, the dude makes millions. I mean, here's the thing. You come to him and you say $99, he won't hire you.
Mm-mm.
Okay. If I were to quote him at $1,500 or whatever, he wouldn't hire me. You know why? Because he was upset with the last company. Why? Because the last company got big and didn't do him customer service. This client wants premium. You go out there and you bid my work that I'm going to do the same exact quality work for $1,500, and I bid it at $8,000. I'm getting the job because I'm offering him premium. Here's the thing: if I show up and the tree's bigger and I need to have a bucket lift, guess what? I can afford to do that bucket lift. If I go up there, and I got a windstorm and it destroys half his lights, I can afford to redo that. I got people on payroll that drive around at night taking photos and looking for, stuff that's bad before the client even realizes it. Like, those are things that I can do for customer service that if you're charging cheap pricing, you can't afford to do that. That applies to everything. I'm closing $900 gutter cleaning jobs, and y'all are out there power washing the whole person's house for $125. It just doesn't make sense, guys. Like, and here's something that I will tell you. Okay, if you're already busy, that you're a perfect candidate for starting Christmas lights because you won't do it cheap. Okay, that's how I started. I was so busy already, and quite frankly, Jason and Fred Zimmerman kind of talked me into it. I didn't really want to do it, but I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do even more work, then I'm going to make more money for that amount of time. And so I charged premium for it. And then it took me doing it to really understand the benefits of premium. Premium means profit after everything's said and done, after all my expenses. Profit means employees. It means proper paying taxes, proper insurance, good shop. It means that, and it also means, here's what it means: happy customers.
And profit is not a 4-letter word. It's not
Profit's
a bad
awesome.
word.
Profit is awesome, and here's the other thing: happy customers is awesome too. We don't want McDonald's. We want
Chick-fil-A.
Panera Bread.
Panera Bread. Yeah. So Cameron, you asked where to buy Christmas lights. You can go to christmaslights.io. Also, if you look up my channel, I go live on Christmas Lights channel every Tuesday night. I think I'm going to be able to. I may have to move this around, but I went live this past Tuesday. I'll be starting every Tuesday. I go live on my Christmas Light channel. So then that way, if you want to learn any more about Christmas lights, I have a whole channel about Christmas lights. If you look up Jason Guyman Christmas Lights, you'll find all my Christmas light channel. I got a couple hundred videos, and so I'm probably going to start putting some Christmas light channel or videos on this channel, so that way it can keep growing even in the wintertime. So yes, christmaslights.io. That is correct. Easy to remember. And there you will also learn the training. So if you want to do the in-person training, that also has the links to our in-person training for the Indianapolis class and for the Raleigh class. Any words of wisdom before we jump off here?
Don't be lazy.
Take action.
All right. You don't even need to look. If your goal was to do everything in your power today, did you do everything in your power today? Right? Yeah. That's all your goal needs to be. You don't need to focus on $1 million or whatever. It's like, did you do everything in your power today? Right? And here's one thing that I'm personally doing. I'm trying to start my days off better. And I'm trying to get my guys in the habit of starting their days off better. And what I mean by that more than anything is the right mindset. Are guys coming into the shop looking at their phone for 15, 20 minutes? Are you sitting on the toilet for 30 minutes flipping through Facebook? Or are you in there getting your business done and getting out and doing everything that you can possibly do today? Are you starting your day off right? Have you planned right? And if you are planning to be productive that day, you will get going and you won't need to hit snooze on that alarm clock. So those are the two things. Try to get in a habit of starting your day off right. Don't be lazy. And a good goal would be, have you done everything in your power to succeed today?
Awesome. So I hit on 3 things. I just want to read them. Read the book, The Magic of Thinking Big. Read the book, Extreme Ownership. And then the other thing is watch a motivational video every morning. You can find them on YouTube. They're 5-10 minutes long. Look up motivational. You know, there's some good ones. Steve Harvey has some good ones. Motivational Wealth has really good ones. Elon Musk has good ones. Donald Trump, actually, I've watched 2 or 3 here lately that they are phenomenal. They ain't got nothing to do political, but they are about success, and it's amazing about it. And then I can't think of the dude. He's oh shoot, I really like TD Jakes. I really like his motivational one. They really hit home. So make sure you go check those out. Again, go check out kingofpressurewash.com. You can check out the membership. Every Monday night, I do Marketing Monday, so that's tomorrow night. We'll be talking. I went on a little bit more about. We're going to be going on over Google My Business because it is changing in their way they're doing their algorithm. It's all a bunch of it's changing. The way that you got to get into it is all changing. So definitely check those. If you want to learn more, you can go to King of Pressure Wash and sign up there. There is a summer code. I don't remember what it is. I think it's summer 2020. I don't know what it is. I'll have to see if you want the code for a discount. The books are The Magic of Thinking Big. I'll put them up here. The Magic of Thinking Big. And then the other book I would highly recommend is Extreme Ownership. Those are the 2 books that are the books I would highly recommend. The Magic of Thinking Big, I would tell you to read first. It's a good book to start thinking big. Like I said, this is something that, this was made in the 1950s. So this was before money was good. There's things in there he talks about like $3 an hour. So it's kind of funny to hear that. But that's a great book. Both of those books I would highly recommend.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's another great book too, which was written in the 1900s, early 1900s. So other than that, hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you all later.